Hey guys, happy Monday. So yeah, I'm releasing a new single called Simple, and the link is in the description to pre-save it. And also go follow me on Spotify so that I can get my numbers up on there and you won't miss out on any music things. And yeah, let's get into the video.
Hey guys, it's Daniel, and today I'm going to be talking about how I take notes in medical school. So this is a pretty simple video because there's nothing too complex about the way I take notes, and I'm just going to show you and share with you how I do it. So medical school is long. It's literally 5 years for most, 6 for some people, and university is long. So you need to find a way that you can get notes done and notes taken and revise as best as possible. You know, you want to be as efficient as possible. No one's really sitting there like, oh my gosh, I get to revise today, I'm so excited for that. It's more like you might kind of enjoy learning more, but I'm sure there's things that you'd rather be doing with your time. So for revising, I use a notebook, Anki, and a trusted post-it notepad. So first of all, before you start making notes on anything, you have to kind of pick what you're going to make notes on. So what I did just around the end of summer, I was like, right, it's time to start learning something new in medicine. So I got the Oxford Handbook of Clinical Medicine and I went through it system by system. I only did about 4 or 5 of them in the end, like the main ones. And essentially most of it was kind of like a recap, but some of it I was learning new things. And essentially what I would do first was watch a whole load of videos on anatomy and physiology. If there was any anatomy and physiology I didn't know, I'd probably write it down in the notebook. And when it came to conditions and that sort of thing, I wrote that down in the notebook using the Cornell Method. Another way I decided what I wanted to learn was by analyzing, like, what are the people who are probably in the best positions. What do they know? So I was thinking about the people who have come into my medical course and they already have degrees in certain things. So I was like, let me improve myself in those areas and just basically, of course I can't get a degree's worth of knowledge in a couple months. This was literally like 6 months ago. But I was like, let me put my effort into these places because I know I'm not strong in them. I'm just average, and we ain't trying to be average here. We're trying to be above average, just slightly, but above average. And then of course, they should really be sponsoring me right now, Past Medicine. So please, if you're not subscribed already, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and hit thumbs up so Past Medicine can see this video and sponsor me, because I sing their praises way too much for there not to be money exchanged. So yeah, just go on to Past Medicine. Of course, it's literally just a question bank. You do some questions, you get some right, you get some wrong, and then that's what you learn. So first, starting with a notebook, I used to make all my notes from first and second year on a computer, and essentially I'd make them into a bullet point list, which you can see here. And yeah, that was cool, that was good and all, and like I'd go through them, but when it came down to it, I pretty much just ended up writing out something else again, and that was just like, that's dead. That's literally the deadest thing I can think of doing. No offense if you do that, but offense. So then I saw one of the kids in my medical school who was getting some good grades using some squared paper, and I decided to get myself like 3 squared notebooks and put them to use in different areas for different notes. So I grouped it by like medical knowledge, and then when we did clinical skills, I had a notebook for that, and then I had another notebook which is literally just to write random stuff in, because sometimes before I started using post-it notes, I'd just write in a notebook and then tick out and then just keep going like that. So yeah, when I changed to writing notes as opposed to typing them, I decided to change the method in which I do things. So before I was just making bullet points, and then maybe I'd go over those bullet points a little bit. Of course, back in first year especially, there were learning objectives for everything we were learning, so I'd always go through those and be like, do I really know this, and go over that. Then in second year, we got our medical knowledge tests, which are literally just everything in medicine in one test. And so what I started to do was start going on to Past Medicine, and then when I got a question wrong, I'd watch a video that they recommended or find one on YouTube, and then I'd take down notes using the Cornell Method, which is essentially you take notes on about 3/4 of the page, and then in the margin that you create, so the other quarter, you'd write a question like, what is this? So it's essentially like creating flashcards on your notes. And I found this worked. I didn't really use Anki back then. I did start using the Google Sheets method, but I switched this summer. And yeah, this works and it's really good. But I kind of left it, and I'd only go over it sometimes. But then one of my friends made a video on how she revises, and she's she's balling out here. So she was like, yes, I just go over my notes. And I was like, why have I never just gone over my notes? Especially when I'm writing like this. So about 2 weeks before an exam starts, or maybe 3, because now I'm onto my second notebook as well, I just start going through these conditions and I start doing the questions in the Cornell method. And then if I don't know something, I'll just watch a video on it. Like I'll probably just watch the same video, maybe in 2 times speed, just to catch myself up and just to refresh. And I find that that's been helping me to maintain more and more. And it also means that I don't take down loads of really small notes on Anki. Sometimes I write down small facts which I feel like I could remember, but if it slipped out my mind, just that short reminder would be enough for it to stick. For example, the fact that pregnant diabetics need to take 5 milligrams of folic acid as opposed to the normal 400 micrograms. I did not know that they were an at-risk group of neural tube defects. So I wrote that one down and I've pretty much just remembered it the whole time. I think writing it down as well can be really beneficial. So now I load up past medicine, like every day I revise. That's pretty much my one way of revising. And then if I get a question wrong, I write down on this post-it pad and I'll write down a whole load of conditions. And then the next day I'll go over them, learn about them, watch some videos on them, and maybe take notes on them depending on whether I've seen the condition before or not. Because of course sometimes I'll get a question wrong and I think, damn, I really should have got this right. So yeah, I'll just write that one down. And for the most part, when I first started this, I literally did it the next day because I was like, nah, I would rather do more questions than start learning again, because I'm already in the rhythm of doing questions and this is good for me. But now thinking about it, it's actually pretty good that I go the next day, because it's kind of like, you got it wrong one day and then the next day you go onto it again, and then it's essentially just a bit of spaced repetition, isn't it? And then that moves me on to Anki. So you might have heard of Anki as this big bad wolf, or the be all and end all of medicine, where you'd be tapping away, spending about 3 hours a day on 1,000 flashcards, and you'll just be a monster by the end of it, but you'll be insane, like 100% in everything. But yeah, the way I use Anki, I don't really have too many flashcards on there. I have probably 1,500 in total. So I end up getting an average of around 40 to 50 flashcards to do a day, which literally takes me like 5 or 6 minutes. And the reason for that is that when I get a question wrong, I don't necessarily write down every single thing that I got wrong, because there are some things which I feel like there's some things that you get wrong because you didn't understand the question correctly. So by doing the question, you understand how to recognize the patterns. And then there's some things you get wrong because you didn't read the question properly. And that seems to happen a lot with me, because outside of exams, I read questions pretty fast. And a lot of the time on past medicine, if I'm in a flow, I'll be like, oh, this person it'll be like, what's the most likely diagnosis? I see like one line, I'm like, right, patterns recognized, boom. And then it ends up being wrong because there was another part that's literally a differential between 2 very close conditions and you've just messed it up. Something like that. So yeah, I only write down on Anki the things that I feel like may not come up again on the question bank for a lot of time. So if it seems like a very niche fact, but it seems like a fact that you kind of should know, like you'd understand it, I will give you an example right here.
So this is one of those questions where if I saw it and I got it wrong, I probably wouldn't note it down, because I feel like remembering that it's an ultrasound at age 65 for a AAA is pretty simple for me, because especially in these, you're probably not likely to use any of these other things to screen someone, because gastroscopy wouldn't make sense and sigmoidoscopy wouldn't make sense, and then CT and X-ray would just be like too much radiation. So that's kind of how I gauged it. So pretty much in an SBA I can guess it, and all our exams are single best answers, so it doesn't make a difference.
And also there's some things to help pattern recognition as well, just writing down certain triads which could come up again, or something that I feel like could be a recurrent mistake. Like in the past I got it wrong and I was like, oh, I can remember this, and then it comes up later, like 3 weeks later, I'll be like, right, it's time for the flashcard. Clearly it's needed. So yeah, I just take that judgment on a case-by-case basis really, and I think it works for me. obviously, if you feel like you don't back yourself that much and you feel like a flashcard would be more beneficial for almost all the things that you get wrong, then fair enough, go for it. But I just like the Anki the way I set it up, and that's how I do it. So yes, of course, in these videos, there's always the thing about note-taking versus just going straight to flashcards, because note-taking isn't very efficient, but flashcards is, and then coming back to your notes and just reading over your notes is a very passive way of learning, whereas doing flashcards is like active recall. I feel like that's sort of true, as just if you just reread your notes and that's your revision, then that's very, very passive. But the way I write down the notes with the Cornell Method and the whole review, I think that really helps me, and that's pretty much active. It's pretty much like doing flashcards, but I just don't make them into flashcards because I feel like these are the conditions that I'll see again in question banks or that I can remember easily. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. It's a short one this week.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now.
Next week, hopefully, I'll have a nice video for you. And yeah, if you did enjoy this, like this video, subscribe if you're new around here, and yeah, go check out my single in the link below. I'm dropping a new song called Simple on Friday. Go pre-save that and just go ham on Friday streaming it. I'll probably stick the music video on here around 6 o'clock, so make sure you have the notification bell turned on so you're here for that. And thank you for watching. I'll talk to you in the next video.